Right.
So this one was what, $537.5 million roughly?
Including the pipeline companies, yes.
Right, including Torrance Valley, including
Right,
the
that's
bays.
correct.
Okay. So of that, how much was purchased? How much was the purchase price of the Torrance refinery, about roughly?
I think estimates of about around 350.
Okay, because I was told this morning it was about between 150 and 170 million when you separate it out. Could you, that's what I was told this morning by a member of
No,
your
the
organization.
value of the refinery itself as part of that acquisition was $187.5 million.
Okay, that's closer to what I heard. What's the approximate valuation of the actual refinery itself? It's 155,000 barrels a day, correct?
Yeah, right. You're talking about the value of the refinery? Or
Yes,
or
the valuation, the value of the
capacity?
refinery itself.
I don't know the book value.
But the Martinez Shell refinery up in Northern California, it produces almost exactly the same number of barrels a day. It's $900 million.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a $900 million asset, plus you have the conveyance, which is worth probably another 300, 400 million. You've invested roughly $537 million for everything, and then you've invested another $250 million. So I don't see where a $500 million profit, if you sold it today, would be cause for shutting down the refinery itself. You guys, last year, Mr. Solomon mentioned you pulled in $15.9 billion in revenue. This past year, it's $21.8 billion of revenue, of which $415 million were net income, about $7 million per employee. One is there are 19 oil refiners in California, correct, roughly?
That's
19.
correct.
Okay, two of them, you and Valero and Wilmington, are the ones that use MHF, right? Your technology is from the 1960s. When you purchased the refinery, you were obviously well aware that MHF was controversial, correct? It's in your annual report. I mean, it was part of it. It was part of the calculations, one of the risk factors in
Absolutely.
the annual report. So, I mean, why was the refinery so undervalued when you purchased it? Why would, what is perhaps a $900 million asset be valued at roughly $150 million to $187 million?
I cannot answer that question for you. I didn't do the valuation. I don't know what the valuation was based on. All I know is what the outcome of the acquisition was.
There's no tax windfall, and the PVF Energy isn't going to put the entire company at risk to switch from one asset to another.
I looked at the most recent financial data, and the tax cut bill from 35 to 21% and allowing them to write off investments in a single year results in a $318 million benefit to the refinery over 5 years, more than enough for a conversion.
Whether you believe it or not, it does come down to money. We all know that. It's
And the industry does find a way, but sometimes they need a push.